read this, and I also read this, which is Surrounded by Psychopaths. And this one is aimed at like helping you to protect yourself from psychopaths. And then this one is arguably, TikTok says, teaching you how to be one. But you can't really learn to be a psychopath, but you could be a sociopath, but I don't think you can really learn to be one. The first law we talked about in the first video, and it was saying to make your superiors feel superior. So the idea is to manipulate them to think that they're great, because then that will reflect back on you and you'll be able to manipulate them moving forward. And I will accept that these are probably strategies that a psychopath would use. I'll just say that. So to understand this law, you have to think about the fact that people have insecurities. Even the best leaders doubt themselves. In fact, I'd say the best leaders probably do doubt themselves, and this is why you can manipulate them. If someone's always making you feel incompetent, or like they are not as good as you and you're supposed to be a subordinate to them, it'll stir up resentment, envy, anger. I'll say that a lot of the laws in this book and a lot of content of this book talks about sort of keeping things to yourself, and I would say that this is an example. So it's like if you are smarter or you're better, it's to act humble, I would say, to put a positive spin on it. And so this says to, give credit where credit is due. And in a lot of ways, it's not even manipulation, because if you learn from the master, then at least you can accredit the master for some of your learning. But what you keep to yourself is if you've surpassed the master, because that would put them in an awkward situation. Actually reminds me a lot of the traditional male-female relationship dynamics that I see talked about a lot these days. And that's where the person who's the leader in the relationship, traditionally should be the man, and for a woman to surpass him and undermine his authority would ignite his insecurities, which would make the relationship fall apart, which is exactly what will happen with the master and the student should you not manipulate in this way. So I guess the question is, how do you actually use this to your advantage? Because if you're hiding your skills, then who's going to see them? And I think the idea is that you would move on to a new master, but I'm curious to see what you think. Like, how do you see this law of power actually bringing you power?